you addressed conference this morning. You said on the government's tax cuts, they're like thieving gangsters. They've got their crew and they are the only people they are looking after. Isn't it the case that your members are going to be getting an income tax cut as well, though?
Well, very slightly. So, if you're earning £1 million, for every £1 million you earn, you get a tax rebate on these new cuts of £56,000 per year. If you're on £20,000 a year, that's your earnings, and that's what lots of care workers, for example, are on. Next April, you'll see the princely sum of £157 being rebated. So that's £3 a week extra they're getting. Given what's happening with the economy, given what's happening with inflation and energy prices, that won't go very far.
Is the Labour Party doing enough to support workers who are choosing to strike over the things that you are talking about? They want a pay rise, they're struggling with the cost of living. You want them on the picket line with you, don't you?
Well, if I'm being totally honest, having a shadow minister or an MP on your picket line really makes no difference to the outcome. I'm sure, of course, local pickets want, especially the local MP, to turn up and support them, but I just think it's one of these kind of a bit of a distraction. And to be quite honest, being on a picket line, once you've got there, you've been through a huge process to be able to take legal industrial action. We've got the toughest industrial action legislation in Western Europe. You're losing a day's pay for every day you take strike action. It's really serious. And I kind of don't like the fact that some people are using it as a bit of a photo op or let's get a selfie. But yeah, I think they should be able to come along and picket lines if they want to come and support picket lines. But it's not my job to tell Keir Starmer how to run the Labour Party. It's my job to do what I can to get the Labour to support us.
So let's talk about public sector pay. Tell us about the workers who are at the sharp end, and are you forecasting more strikes? Which of your members, which sectors are looking to strike?
So we've got disputes going on in a range of sectors, and some of the perhaps more unusual ones would be things like the Environment Agency. So they're the ones who help when there's been floods or they run the Thames Barrier. We have our Food Standards Agency, and that's the ones who work in abattoirs. So maybe the ones you wouldn't think of, but very critical. But I suppose the big one for us is the NHS. So we're the main health union in this country, and we, over October and November, will be balloting around 400,000 NHS workers across the UK. And basically because they're telling us, now I know, taking striking action in the NHS is a big deal, but what they're saying to me when I speak to them, I've had paramedics say to me, do you know what, the system is so bad that going on strike won't make it any worse. It seriously won't make it any worse.
It will for patients.
Well, because we always put in a life and limb care, and what they're saying is it's so bad now that that's kind of the level it's at. As in, there is no slack in the system. That's why people are waiting hours for ambulances to turn up, and it's why they're waiting weeks and weeks for appointments and operations.
What sort of pay rise are you looking for?
So we're looking for an inflation-proof pay rise. At the moment, they offer in England, in Wales and Northern Ireland, they offer for health workers is a flat rate of £1,400, which for the... So you know what's happening to energy prices. £1,400 in a year will soon be snapped up. But just to put it into perspective, if you're a nurse or a if you're a nurse or a occupational therapist or a physiotherapist, there's a kind of band, we call it band 5 in the NHS, which is where all the kind of professional clinical staff, that's the main grade for them. It will mean for them an increase of between 4 and 4.2% when inflation's running at 10%.
You want a 10% pay rise?
And we do. I'm sorry, but if they can afford to give away huge sums of money in tax cuts to the very wealthy, then they can afford to give people who keep the country going a decent pay increase.